Okay, of mice and men, we're here at Logitech for Gamescom with Vincent. Thanks very much indeed for joining us, Vince. How's Gamescom treating you?
So far, so good. I actually love this show.
Have you actually been outside this room?
I have been outside this room for about 25 minutes.
And then you came straight back.
Came straight back to meet you guys.
Okay, now, you're here to show us some new products, but also could go into a little bit of the philosophy behind these products. So let's start with that. Logitech and the philosophy of these.
Yeah, so Logitech has been in the gaming business since about 2001, and we've done lots and lots of products, like lots of mice, keyboards, headsets, etc. And in the past, our philosophy has been really more iterative, right? We take a beloved shape like an MX518, and we'd update certain components within that product to turn it into something that performs better for the individual gamer. So about a year and a half ago, we changed our product philosophy. And what we've been doing instead of that is we've been focusing on what a customer need is, what a pain point is for the consumer, and really trying to address that need in the most specific and most functional way, applying the science and the expertise that we have from making, we've made over 1 billion mice as Logitech as a whole. And gaming, we're dedicated to solving these customer needs. So the first mouse that we came out with since this change of philosophy was the G602. And when we were interacting with consumers, gamers in general, professional gamers as well as everyday gamers, many of them really desired a wireless gaming mouse for performance purposes. They like to be unencumbered by the cable. But the real pain point for them was that the batteries never lasted long enough, right? They'd go out, maybe 15 hours, maybe 12 hours, something like that. So we focused in on that part of it, right? Because if the battery goes dead, it's going to happen when you're about to finish a game, when you're about to kill a boss, and then you die, you ruin your experience. So what we focused on is how do we expand the battery life hours? So what we did was we worked with some of our partners, we collaborated to define the algorithms for power consumption, and we defined an exclusive sensor for this mouse that delivers over 250 hours of continuous gaming, right? And that's about 20 times the average. This mouse is doing incredibly well for us. It is balanced with a number of 6 buttons on the side. All of these buttons are programmable if you utilize our Logitech gaming software. And this is the first mouse that focused in on this new philosophy about solving a pain point by delivering 250 hours to the user.
How have you got around that problem? How does this actually work?
So it's really about the algorithms that we use, about power management. We didn't reduce the functionality from a gaming perspective. It's 2 millisecond report rate. It goes up to 2500 DPI, which is, for most players, this is quite substantial from a DPI perspective. And we just focused in on the exclusive sensor and making sure that it was the best at power consumption.
Right, excellent, excellent. Number 2 on the list.
So number 2 on the list, and we just came out with this in April of this year. And this particular product was designed as a replacement for the G5 and ultimately the G500. And both of those mice were built from a tunability perspective, being able to adjust kind of the weight of those mice. So we followed up on that, but we expanded it. So on the bottom here, you have this tray, this weight tray, that's removable. So what you get is this this set of weights, these chevrons, right, that you can orient inside this cavity in any way you want, so you can adjust the weight. You can also adjust the balance for you, right? So I'm going to do it differently than you are. The next person's going to do differently from either of us. And that way it becomes a much more personalized experience from a weight and balance perspective. But on top of that, people play on all sorts of different surfaces. Some people play on mouse pads. Sometimes they're white, sometimes they're blue, sometimes they're black. Some people play on wooden tabletops. So again, we develop algorithms, and we collaborated to make an exclusive sensor only available to us. And this sensor adapts itself to the surface that you're on. If you use our software, you can improve the performance of the sensor, which is already incredible. It's the best sensor on the market today. but it will tune itself to the surface that you are using, right? So, and what that does
is that an automatic thing, or is that you set it within the system?
You set it within the system. Yeah, I mean, it has remarkable surface coverage just right out of the box, but if you wanted to tune it specifically for your surface, then you use the software. In addition to that, it's got quite a few buttons on it, all of which are programmable via the software. It's got, we have a ratcheted, a two-position scroll wheel. One is ratcheted, and the other one is free spinning, and it'll just keep going on and on and on and on for you.
I think you could corner the rollerblade and roller skate market with that.
Yeah, maybe that's the next market expansion for us. And the last thing that that I'll talk about is when you look at the design, right? It's dramatically different from what we've done in the past. It's actually quite aggressive. But while we were doing this, Logitech has a very, very good heritage from a comfort perspective, meaning our mice are very comfortable and users comment consistently on how comfortable they are, how good they feel. So what we did was we were very deliberate about this design, and we did lots of heat mapping about the way people actually come into contact with the mouse, how their hands go on it, where they come in, where the contact points are. And this mouse feels exactly like the G500. So if you are a G500 user and you pick up this mouse, it's going to feel very, very comfortable for you. It'll feel just like it.
Last but not least.
So last but not least, this is G402, which is called Hyperion Fury. And this is the fastest mouse in the world. And that might sound like a bold statement, but when you think about kind of the garden variety gaming mouse, they have sensors in them that will travel on an inches per second perspective, up to about 120 inches per second. And like this one, you know, garden variety sensors, right? This one is exclusive, and we've attached to it what we call a fusion engine. Okay, so the fusion engine links with the optical sensor. And the fusion engine is basically a combination gyroscope and accelerometer. So what that enables you to do is if you are a low DPI player, and you know many of these Counter-Strike players are low DPI, they play at about 400 DPI. So what that enables you to do is do these large sweeping hand movements, because that only moves a certain number of degrees on the screen, because they want more accuracy. So this enables you to move at very high speed and not lose tracking, because this instantaneous handoff between the optical sensor and the gyroscope and accelerometer give you the ability to go up to 500 inches per second. Actually over that, but we're claiming 500 inches per second. I mean, it took about 2.5 to 3 years to develop this technology. So it's a no-fail technology, right? It instantly hands over from the optical sensor to the accelerometer, so that you get this smooth transition no matter how fast you're going. I mean, just to give you a perspective, 500 meters per second is faster than Usain Bolt runs, right? It's 12 meters per second. He runs about 10 meters per second. World record's like 9.8, right? So this would win the gold medal at the Olympics if it could compete.
That's a good sell right there. I can see that in the marketing branding right there, faster than Usain Bolt. Can you talk about RIP? How much are we talking for these?
Yeah, so retail price point on this one is $59, 59 euros. This is 79, and this is also 79.
Thank you very much indeed for taking the time to show us through the mice.
Yeah, my pleasure.